If you hike alone, especially in national forests, pay close attention to this story, because some trails don't lead where you think they do. My name is Evan Mercer, and this happened to me in October 2019. I live in Oregon, and I've been hiking since college. I'm not reckless. I carry a GPS, a compass, extra batteries, the whole checklist. That's why what happened in the Cieslaw National Forest still keeps me awake at night. I wasn't doing anything extreme, just a simple day hike. 5 miles in, 5 miles out. The trailhead was normal. Wooden sign, weathered map, nothing strange. But about 2 hours in, I noticed something off. The forest went quiet. No birds, no wind. Even my boots sounded wrong, like the dirt was softer than it should have been. That's when I saw it. A narrow side trail, barely visible, branching off to the right. It wasn't on my map. At first, I ignored it. Then I noticed something that made my stomach tighten. There were fresh footprints going into it. Not hiking boots, not animal tracks, bare feet. I stood there for a full minute, telling myself it was none of my business. Then I heard a sound from deeper inside the trees. A woman's voice. Soft, strained. Hello? Can someone help me? It sounded real, too real. Against every instinct I had, I stepped onto the side trail. The temperature dropped almost immediately. My breath fogged, and it wasn't cold enough for that. The trees grew closer together, branches arching overhead like they were trying to close behind me. After maybe 5 minutes, I realized something terrifying. The trail behind me was gone. I turned around. Nothing but trees. No path. No footprints. Just forest. Then the voice spoke again. Closer this time. Please, don't leave me here. I followed it until I reached a clearing. In the center stood an old ranger cabin. Rotting wood, collapsed roof, door hanging open. There was no cabin marked anywhere in the forest records. I stepped inside. The air smelled like mildew and something else. Metallic. On the wall, scratched deep into the wood, were names. Hundreds of them. Dates too. Some went back to the 1960s. The most recent one stopped my heart. That was today. Behind me, the door slammed shut. I spun around. Nobody there. Then the voice whispered directly into my ear. You found the trail. Now you stay. The walls began to creak, like they were breathing. I don't remember running. I don't remember opening the door. I only remember bursting out of the trees onto the main trail, collapsing and vomiting into the dirt. My GPS suddenly worked again. According to it, I'd been missing for 6 hours. Search and rescue was already being prepared. I reported the side trail, the cabin, the names. The ranger went pale. He told me something I wasn't supposed to hear. Every few years, hikers vanish in that forest. No tracks, no signs of struggle. Locals call it the borrowing trail. It appears when the forest needs someone. They closed my case as exhaustion and hallucination. But last month, I went back. I shouldn't have. The side trail was there again, and carved into a tree beside it was a new name. That's my younger brother, and tomorrow, he's going hiking alone. If you ever hear whistling in the woods that doesn't stop when you stop walking, do not follow it. My name is Caleb Rourke, and this happened during a solo camping trip in West Virginia, near the edge of the Monongahela National Forest. I wasn't deep in the wilderness. That's the part people don't understand. I was less than 3 miles from a paved road. I went out there to clear my head after a bad breakup. Just one night. Tent, fire, sleep, leave. The forest felt normal when I arrived. Crickets, wind, distant owls. At around 9:40 p.m., while sitting by the fire, I heard it. A whistle. Not a tune, just one long, slow note. I assumed it was another camper. I whistled back. Same note. The sound came again, closer. That's when I noticed something unsettling. The forest noises stopped every time the whistle started. No bugs, no wind, just silence, and that sound. I stood up and called out, "Hey, you camping nearby?" No response. Then I heard footsteps. Not leaves crunching, but soft soil being pressed, like someone walking barefoot. The whistle came again, directly behind my tent. I grabbed my flashlight and spun around. Nothing. No footprints. No movement. I told myself I was tired and went inside the tent. That was a mistake. At 12:12 a.m., I woke up to the sound of whistling inside the tent. Not loud. Right next to my head. I froze. I could feel breath, cold and damp, brushing against my ear. A voice whispered, broken and wrong, like it was learning how to speak. "Don't look." You already answered. The tent fabric began to sink inward, as if hands were pressing from the outside. I screamed and kicked my way out. The fire was gone. Not burned out. Gone, like it had never existed. And surrounding my campsite were dozens of trees I didn't recognize, tall, twisted, and packed too close together. I wasn't where I had set up camp anymore. Then I saw them, figures standing between the trees. Tall, too thin, heads tilted at impossible angles. Every one of them was whistling the same note. I ran. The ground felt uneven, wrong, like it was shifting under my feet. No matter how far I ran, the whistling stayed the same distance behind me. Then one of the voices spoke clearly. "You stopped walking once. We almost kept you." Suddenly, I burst onto the gravel shoulder of a road and collapsed. A truck screeched to a stop. The driver told me something that made my blood run cold. I had been reported missing 2 days earlier. I thought I was gone for hours. I never went back. But sometimes, late at night, when everything is quiet, I hear that same whistle. And it always sounds like it's coming from just outside my window. If you hear your own voice calling you from the forest, do not answer it. And whatever you do, don't go looking for it. My name is Nathan Colebrook, and this happened in March 2021 near a small town outside Flagstaff, Arizona. I grew up around forests. I know the difference between fear and imagination. That's why I still can't explain what happened in the Coconino National Forest. I was driving back from visiting a friend when my car broke down near a forest access road. No signal, no traffic. I decided to walk to the ranger station I had passed earlier, about 2 miles back. The woods were thin at first, pine trees, open sky. Then, without realizing when, the trees grew denser. The air felt heavier, and the forest started doing something that made my skin crawl. It started echoing me. Every footstep I took came back half a second later. Not an echo, a copy. I stopped walking. So did the footsteps behind me. I laughed nervously and said, "Okay, not funny." From somewhere deep between the trees, I heard my own voice repeat it perfectly. "Okay, not funny." My throat went dry. I turned slowly. Nothing there. I told myself it was stress and kept walking faster. That's when I heard it again. My voice, this time whispering, "Wait, don't go yet." It sounded sad. I broke into a run. Branches scratched my arms, but the forest felt like it was closing inward, like it was reshaping itself around me. Suddenly, I came across a clearing. In the middle stood a wooden sign, old and cracked. It read, "You can leave, or you can stay, but only one of you will." I laughed hysterically and stepped past it. Behind me, I heard footsteps again, but heavier, closer. Then I heard my voice, calm, confident, coming from just a few feet away. "You can stop running now. I've got this." I spun around. I saw myself. Same jacket, same face, but his eyes didn't blink. He smiled too wide. You were tired, he said. I'll finish your life for you. I don't remember how I escaped. I remember tripping. I remember screaming. And then I was lying on the side of the road, headlights blinding me. A ranger told me something I'll never forget. They found my footprints going into the woods, but only one set came out. I sold my car. I moved states. But sometimes when I look in the mirror too long, I swear my reflection smiles before I do.